That sounds less than mythic. Oh, hey everyone.
Not, this is...
Welcome to
Oh,
hi,
Crudely
guys.
Swords Trilogy.
Didn't see you there.
This is why we've stopped Stu from using the Discord soundboard, because if anything...
I don't need it. Yeah, I don't need it.
He loves it too much.
I do.
I'm your host and GM, Ben Moxon. And with me, as always, on the air horns and the sad trombones are Ali. Who are you playing?
Hello. I remember what I'm playing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good, because if you don't, I'll
I'm
accidentally call...
17.
I was going to say, I will keep calling you Enigma by mistake and then going, Arkwise.
Oh, shit.
What I was doing there was
we hit
building
Discord, by the way?
extension. What?
Guys, Discord. Not
What about
Discord, Audacity.
Oh,
Audacity.
whoa. Audacity.
Dude,
Right.
Very good call.
I am now recording.
Speakers,
We are definitely organised.
Yeah.
I am now
Okay,
recording. Oh, shit, I'm clipping hard. Okay, hold on. And, yep, I've clapped as well. We're all synced. Oh, shit, I'm clipping. Okay, I've got to do a test. Sorry, folks. Hold on.
Just turn down the input gain a bit on your...
Yeah, good shout.
you could do it on Audacity.
No one's watching. It's fine. No one's watching.
Yeah, it's cool.
Audacity is... Yeah, we're good. We're good to go. We're good to go.
Ali, you don't need singing. Oh,
Helping.
God. I've just realised I've put for that last bit, because of which screen I was using Audacity on, it was over Gwyn's face on the stream. But only Gwyn.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why Gwyn.
We got to start clipping.
They call me 00 hours, 00 minutes.
We got to start getting some of these highlights for YouTube.
So, as ever, like seamless professionals, we were ready for anything. We're going to do a count 3, 2, 1, and then we're going to clap.
Oh, you're showing them behind the curtain.
This is the good stuff, folks. 3, 2,
Get the hands warm.
1.
Whoa, my muscles look huge.
Stuart.
2.
What do you mean? I was bang on 1.
You were like an hour
I was
later.
bang on 1.
You don't
Supposed
go
to
on
be
one.
after 1. Were you actually in time as you could hear?
It's not 3, 2, 1, clap. Oh yeah. Maybe. Well, I was bang on 1. To be fair,
you're on 1. You better stop
You're on
believing
1.
in out of time
I've
clapping.
got a fucking splinter and I can't see it.
So
He's hiding away with the turtles.
we have Ali playing Arkwise Turbatine. We have Stu playing Brad Muscles, and we have Gwyn playing Anders Rowe. That's the only characters with fish-related.
Bad back, Mike. A guy that's always complaining about his bad back.
Well, neither of those things is a kind of fish, so it wouldn't have fitted with the general.
Stickleback.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Alison.
Welcome.
What's another Mike fish? The Mike fish.
Oh, the Mike fish. Yeah, the ones that record everything people say when they're swimming past.
Yeah.
So, when last we saw our heroes, they had visited the peaceful town of Troggleshythe, and there they discovered that it was no longer a peaceful town. It was now a site of carnage and mayhem. While our heroes decided to investigate further, they suggested that the Dutchess, who they were accompanying, along with teams Delta and Gamma, make their way back to the fantasy castle to bring the news to the Merry King, while they continued their search for evidence. As they sought around, they met a sinister figure called Colorath, who appeared to have some transformational power. After a brief conversation, Colorath leapt onto the rooftops and made their escape, while our heroes heard the bells ringing, heard the crab bells ringing on the coach.
Oh yeah.
To call them back because trouble was
Crabs!
ensuing. Yeah, we had established on the journey up when they saw a Skelebarian skitterer that there was a special bell they rang just in case of crabs. We didn't establish how many other special bells there were. But yes, so you are with Team Beta, and all of you still in the ruins of Troggleshide as you hear this bell ringing. So, what are you doing?
Running back.
Yeah.
Run!
So you start.
That's the crab bell. At 'em, lads.
Everybody responds to the crab bell.
Yeah, that's
Like the
it.
golden rule.
All the people against all the crabs.
Brad Muscle's always saying,
All the time.
never, don't be paying attention to the crab bell.
Yep.
Okay, so as you come down this, to remind you, the woods, the track through the woods forms a kind of descending spiral. The track itself lies at the bottom of kind of long banks. And as it slowly makes its way around through the woods, it's kind of it's a bit of a distance. Now the smoke that filled the village seems to have filled the woods as well. It's no longer bright and sunny. It now feels misty and sinister. As you make your way down, you hear shouting ahead of you and the ringing of the bell. And when you come round the corner, you see that the carriage has been caught in a huge net that appears to have been dropped from the trees and held down by rocks. And you can see Skelebarians fighting with the other two teams, with Team Delta and Team Gamma, who are trying to hold them off. But they are heavily beset. So as you approach, what do you do?
I'll charge in with a war cry.
How much smoke how much can we see through this smoke? Is it cleared around the caravan, or are we just kind of peeping through?
You can see pretty well. If you were to imagine that you were at a slightly more fancy LARP event where people were running smoke machines through the woods to make it more atmospheric during a fight sequence, it's kind of that level. So it's atmospheric. It's not hugely inhibiting what you can see here. Not like it did back at the village.
Okay.
So yeah, it's
we could leave them to die. I mean, we are trying to win.
I am thinking that if there was like a sudden gust of wind to bring that bank of smoke in on top of it, then that would provide pretty good cover for gratuitous use of magic, right?
It certainly would. So is that the way you're leaning?
Yeah, I'm thinking we're probably running down the path. towards this this little bit of combat that's happening, and the smoke that is all sort of wispy around us. Maybe that can start rolling into more of a bank that's kind of following us down.
Yeah. Cool.
That can just kind of engulf that. Or, like it's a sort of cinematic special effect, so that people that were watching could think, oh, that's been deliberately done in order to add to the staging of the show.
Or they're like, wow, they're doing like CGI on it. I wonder what it looked like to the people who are actually playing the game.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be planning on charging in and bringing a bank of fog with me.
So that definitely sounds like nudge probability.
Yeah. So I want to... do we have, like, what's it called, points?
You have an action point because I started this scene.
Okay, but I can use that after I've rolled, can't I?
You can use it to take advantage on a roll, but you can probably also do other stuff with it as well. So you could use it now.
I'll just roll it this time.
Yeah, okay. So just take advantage when you roll it.
Well, I won't. Sorry, I won't take it this time.
Okay,
I'll save it for when we're in the fog.
When you need it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, a 7, an intermediate success.
Just.
I'll then pick. There is a side effect you did not anticipate. Pick one. Mark a second probability. The effect is smaller or greater than you expect. The working draws unwelcome attention or reveals an unwelcome truth. Or the working is exhausting. You want unwelcome attention?
No. Either smaller or greater
always
than
a good
I
one.
expect.
Okay, yeah. So you come charging. Yeah, and there's probably is something that happens as well when you know what I like to do. So, Brad, as you come charging down, I think you and Barry probably naturally fall a little ahead because you've got slightly longer legs, and you've got you in your fighter's vest and you're kind of rough and tumble. Are you carrying a weapon, or are you just using your mighty fists?
Big two-handed sword that I use in one hand.
He's got the big two-handed sword in one hand.
Oh no, I had like a punch claw and like a little buckler that's attached to my wrist, I think. Kind of
right, yeah, okay. So you got the...
In case you weren't sure what a buckler was. I'm like, it's like a round thing that,
Yeah, okay.
We're quite new to this.
We've seldom seen bucklers.
I also have a big two-handed sword on my back as well.
Okay,
that's like twice the size of a normal sword, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like imagine a knife, but like it's really big. Like,
yeah.
And like sometimes they have sharp edges. Like a stick's got a blunt edge, but like this sword has a sharp edge.
Is it bigger than a bread knife?
Like imagine 15 bread knives.
15.
Like, if you've got a bread knife, 15. So that's actually that might be too big.
So I was imagining them out.
15 sword.
I have the 15 bread knife sandwich.
It's like 3
Which is confusing in a way, isn't it? Because like if you imagine the size of a loaf of bread compared to the size of 2 hands, they're pretty similar.
Yeah, and you can see why, but no, Brad's got a 15-foot-long sword that's like dragging along the floor behind him.
It's serrated.
It's actually a spear, but I call it a sword. Like, Brad, that's a spear, we keep telling you.
Okay, so it is noted that you have that in a back scabbard, so let's hope you don't need to draw it.
No.
So, as you come down, you can see like the Skelebarians, they look heavy set and bulky, like they're wearing furs and like big fur gloves and lots of kind of ragged fabrics, all that stuff. But then they do have just skull heads visible through their hoods. but that's the only obvious skeletal thing. And they're carrying like stone axes, where it's that kind of axe that's almost like a wooden bat with stone edges put into it, with like stone blades like along the side, and they're like chopping down at the other members of the group who are kind of, some of them are holding up quite well. A couple of them, Togs Gernard is doing pretty well. It's actually Xander Mullet, the angelic boy, is standing on top of the carriage, trying to poke away barbarians who try and climb up with his staff. Not doing a very good job of it. And so you come in, and as you do, this blinding wave of fog washes over you, and now you're definitely out of sight of pretty much everyone. You can identify a target quite well, probably because you could see what was going on. You know where you're going to, but you might well be able to surprise them. So what do you do?
Okay. Trying to think about. I'm just going to pile in. I'm going to try and crash into the first one and pile into the second and drag them away in a big old bear hug.
Okay.
Oh, I'm going to extend my arms magically so they loop around like Mr. Tickle as I grab them.
Okay, amazing.
I decided I'm just going to have elastic limbs.
That's going to be using your power then.
Yeah.
And you can take advantage on this because...
Is it mine?
Because he's got big arms and no one can see him.
It's hard. You can take advantage on this because this mist is concealing you.
See, told you. Mr. Tickle's a bad one.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It makes no difference.
That's a 10. So a full success.
Oh. How is that a 10? Oh, +1?
There's a lot of numbers going on there.
So you roll 3 dice and get a +1. Oh no, +1's from my heart.
Your heart is +1. So you roll 3 dice, you take the best 2, and then you get a +1 to it.
Go one.
And so, as you come in, you just seize these 2 Skelebarians, and you your arms reach around and grab them, and exactly as you will it. So you definitely knock them, you kind of knock them back and wrap them around, and they're dragged away, which creates a bit of breathing space for the people who are fighting at the back of the carriage here, who are also not really expecting to see you because the wall of mist came. They saw you at a distance, but then the wall of mist came in, so that's going perfectly. What are you doing, arc-wise?
I can't remember if I have any weapons at all.
I believe you have claws that shoot out of your arm. If you want to have a weapon, have a weapon.
Your arse.
You also have subtlety. So if you had some kind of built-in crossbow or something like that, you'd be well set for using ranged weapons. Except
I was thinking
in a
about
mist bank.
That is a problem. But I was thinking that maybe between the whole mist and the fact that I'm quite scuttly, I could probably get past them and get the other side of them and underneath the carriage and start trying to free it.
Oh, yeah.
So I was going to go with a penknife, but if I've got claws, I'm so I'm just getting rid of the net for them. But no one would see me because there's smoke and I'm subtle. That's what subtle means.
Very subtle. That's exactly what it means.
That is how most people describe me.
This is definitely going to be face a challenge with subtlety.
Bow.
Going to intermediate success.
Made a showed off.
Yeah. Your escape creates a new problem. cost or tough choice. I think this is more actually by way of a limited success. You cut through a bunch of the ropes on this net, but what happens is that you realise that some of them are like tangled through in the wheels and stuff. It's going to take a little more work to get this from happening, to get it moving, which would be fine. Only you realise that the other thing that you saw when you glimpsed the Skelebarians before, there are also these like weird bone crabs, and there are several bone crabs under the carriage here with you. So that's just something to think about. So, Anders, you've brought in this wave of fog that has effectively concealed your allies, and now you can hear like Callie like swinging her axe in, and you can hear the clash of weapons ahead of you. You can't quite make out what's going on. It's quite confusing. What are you doing?
So what I want to do is I got obviously suspicions about Hallie. I want to try to maneuver myself through the fog to get some sight lines on her and see how she's acting, with the knowledge that we're relatively concealed, and see if I can spot any arcane things going on.
Okay, yeah.
In fact, I kind of want to do that generally in the other two teams as well.
Yeah, that's cool. So this could well be touched by the arcane, I think, which means you roll investigate a place, and you get the extra question of what magic is, what here is magical.
Okay, there's not a button for that, so I just do it.
So you just do investigate a place as normal.
Okay.
And it basically appends itself to the list.
Investigate a place. Okay, actually, it is there.
Yeah.
I'll use my action point for this.
Okay, yeah. So
I will probably, like, Callie is the obvious one because we were running down with her.
Yeah.
But I will basically try to avoid combat myself. But get a spot and sort of duck and dive to try to pick up on anybody that I can spot that might be taking the opportunity to use some magic and just mark them out in my mind.
Yeah.
So I use my action point. Roll advantage. All that.
13, an extremely good roll.
Big.
Yeah. So what I think you see here, so this is going to give you across the board insight here. Yeah, Callie is quite kind of, she's wearing that like wood elf type gear. The kind of ranger get up. She's still got her axe, which is what she's using now. And what you realise is that all the swings miss her, like implausibly. She's moving faster than it's not that she's moving faster than it's possible to move. It's moving more accurately, and you think that there's definitely magic in that. There's definitely a feeling of a sense of maybe probability bending, maybe something else.
Okay.
You see Darard Macaro is...
But I'm content that it's arcane of some description.
You are sure it's arcane, yeah.
Okay.
Darard Macaro is kind of just glides through the fight with incredible dexterity, but it's trained dexterity. You don't notice anything magical.
Okay.
Barry Kudos also doesn't seem at first, as you see him now, to be using magic. Does that mean he couldn't? But you don't know. Among the other teams, there's Okay, Ember in Team Gamma, there are Ember Rass, who is wearing the kind of power dress with shoulder pads and carrying a short sword. There is Moki Trumpeter, who wears the black robe with the skull motif necklace. And there's Rocchio Pomoxis, who is wearing kind of, again, like thieves type gear. Both Ember and Rocchio are using magic.
Okay.
But Moki, in his black robe with his skull necklace, is not at all and has no magical abilities.
Okay. And do I manage to pick up Team Delta?
Yeah, you do.
This?
Yeah, this was a very strong hit. So yeah, Tugs Gernard, who I characterised as like a human, no fear T-shirt. Still, perhaps my best characterisation I've ever managed. Not magic.
Mm-hmm.
Shani Tonpot, who was who's again dressed as a knight. You don't see her using magic, but you can feel that she could. Like, there's a magic vibe.
Okay.
Man,
And
I really thought magic was going to be rare in this system, and it's making a comeback.
But this is
pretty
the thing,
popular.
isn't it? It's very rare, and that's why the few of us that have used it might have been brought together. That's kind of where we're going with it.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, and
Okay.
and the saintly Xander Mullet, who is in his white robe and his angelic expression. He doesn't appear to be magic, but there is something arcanely weird about him. Like, you don't get a sense that he's using magic, but you get a magic-y vibe, a magic-adjacent vibe, I would say.
Okay, that's interesting.
Tell you
Okay,
who's the most magic, though, is in the mist nearby, Brad Muscles. His arms extremely long.
His arms outstretched.
They would actually be long enough to draw his two-handed sword from a back scabbard. That's why he can get away with it, because he just go, what?
That's it. When you were saying that, I was thinking, I'll be fine. Old rubber arms.
Yeah. And likewise, you had no sense of magic at all from Arkwise.
And it's going to stay that way.
Yeah.
So that's what you get. That's the sense you get from there.
Okay, cool.
So Brad, you've kind of dragged aside these two Skelebarians, and they're now like trying to wrestle their way out of your grip and like swing at you with
nice
these.
Try. As my arms go back to normal, I'm going to elongate my fingers around each skull and just... Actually, no, I haven't shrunk my arms. My fingers are going to elongate, so I've got each skull as far as my arms go out. I'm going to crush them.
And then you like
But do you actually have
your
muscles
arms.
when they're long?
Yeah.
So you're actually just...
Yeah, my muscles just... That's the reason I've got such big muscles, because when my arms stretch, the muscles make up for the fact that otherwise they'd be like really weak and limp and like, wow, look how good my fake limp arm impression is. So my muscles stretch so that my arms are equally strong. And I burst their hands together and shrink my arms and fingers back into my body.
Okay, I think I'm going to call this engage an opponent with force.
So strength.
You're going to use strength for this, yeah.
No advantage because my fingers are so long.
You do. You have an action. You have an action point if you want to use it.
Yeah, why
Your
not?
fingernails get longer as well.
Boom! If I want them to. Oh well. Oh,
a 13.
13.
Another very strong hit.
Acceptable.
Yeah,
Just
so
crush them
A
skulls.
shatter.
yeah, Brad Muscles just smashes these two Skelebarian heads together, and they shatter and collapse immediately to the ground.
Yes.
And like, I think on that roll, what happens is, as this happens, like the wind of this rapid action just blows the smoke aside for a moment. So just as your arms reach normal length, like it blows away, you just see, and the cameras just see you smash these skulls together with incredible force and cast them aside. So I want you to mark
You
plus,
just killed some cast.
mark +1 popularity, because the audience got to see that.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
God,
The audience see that through the fog.
well, the fog just blew aside for a moment as he did it. And
dear.
it was pretty forceful.
yeah, just as his arms
Yeah.
reached normal length, so it doesn't look like he's doing something weird. It just looks like he's like extremely strong.
Which, to be fair,
Which,
but it was the extra arm distance.
yeah, that's how it worked.
Yeah.
Okay. Meanwhile, Arkwise, you're under this carriage with these three little skittery, giant. Like, have you ever seen like a giant spider crab?
I've seen a picture of a dead
What?
one.
Yeah, so they're that kind of shape. They're like quite a small body with long, sharp legs, but they're all bone. Like, I think the body is probably a skull. Maybe some of them are animal skulls. Maybe some of them are human skulls.
Nice.
Gonna get more booze.
And so they're kind of, as you get cut through these ropes, these things come like skittering in towards you. What do you do?
Oh, well, I'm going to be cutting them just like I'm cutting the ropes.
Okay, so you're just going
I've got to go in there. I mean, there's no real way out because there's more of those dudes out there. So
yeah, you've got to. So you're
I'm just going to get because you can't go for the body of that because they're quite small. So I'm thinking just cut the legs down so it's harder for them to move.
Yeah, okay, that's
I reckon you get a few legs at once.
that's a good maneuver. Yeah, so let's engage an opponent with force. You can use subtlety for this because that's what you're good at.
Hooray!
And if you want advantage, you do still have an action point. Oh, that's a 12 anyway.
It's good.
Yeah, they they start like you just cut through their legs, and they kind of are flipped over. They're lying there, little bone probosces trying to reach towards you to stab you, but they can't get to you. And meanwhile, you are freed up. So there's these kind of like, some of the ropes are like, almost like, I think it's not just the ropes that you've cut through. I think spears have been thrust through the wheels. So it's like a bicycle wheel. They're through the spokes, stopping them from moving. So what are you doing about those?
Are they breakable spears, or are they like
They're like
just
wooden.
too tough?
They're just like wooden poles. They're They're cut throughable, but they're harder to cut through. You probably have a saw,
Yeah, I'd probably have like a sort of. I'm thinking of it's like a penknife kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start working on that for sure.
So you're going to start working on that. Now, again, we can roll this off subtlety if you like, or you could just have it take longer.
I'm going to roll it off subtlety.
Okay, let's make it. Let's take a chance on that. Remember, you do have an action point if you need it.
Didn't entirely manage it.
Yeah. Okay. you manage to get. You cut through, your little saw blade zips back and forth, and you manage to get to where it's thin enough you can just break off the spearhead, and the wheel turns round. And unfortunately, there was a second spear jabbed through the bottom of the wheel that you hadn't seen. And as the thing bumps forward, your arm is caught between this spear and the bottom of the carriage. So it's like you're being held in place now.
Ow! Ow!
And you can, I think you could maybe mark the level 1 harm crushed.
I could definitely see where it says
harm.
that.
It's just
Oh
near
god,
the
there we go.
top, yeah.
Add harm. Crushed.
What you could do is you could use your armor to prevent that if you want. In which case, just check a mark on your armor instead.
I can't see where to do that.
It's in your down in equipment. You have pangolin scale armor.
Oh yeah. Right. Yeah. Got it.
So you can check that and use that instead of your taking harm, and then you'll still...
I can't check it. Nothing's happening.
Okay, that's fine. I will. I'll make a note of it.
Okay.
And fix that for next time. Fundamentally, what that means is you're like, once your armor is completely used up, it will need repairing before you can do anything with it.
Yes,
but
it makes sense.
You can choose to reduce one level of harm anytime you take it by marking it off your armor, which will become important when you start meeting opponents who do more than one level of harm, because harm is really dangerous once it gets higher. So yeah, you're now trapped underneath. Anders, the carriage almost jolted forward for a moment and then stopped. Brad has just heroically smashed some Skelebarians. It looks like there are, like, it looks like now with the two teams here, the battle is definitely turning in favour of the teams. So it seems like the Skelebarians are being at least matched, or maybe starting to be pushed back.
Okay.
What are you doing?
So this was on like a winding path, sort of down a hill, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a downhill slope with kind of banks on each side.
Yeah. So the wagon has started moving from what Arkwise has done, but is it stopped dead again because she's stuck in it?
Yeah, stopped dead again because Arkwise is trapped underneath it. It's gone like a couple, like half a meter or something, and then stopped.
Okay. Ideally, what I'd like to do is, well, in what way is Arkwise stuck under it?
It's a little
just your
hard,
arm, isn't it?
It's a little hard to see. But basically, yeah. If you imagine the carriage wheel's like a bicycle wheel with a spear through the spoke, and it's gone forward, and that spear has gone up to hit the bottom of the carriage and stop it moving, but Arkwise's arm is in between the spear and the carriage, so Arkwise is just like wedged in.
So if I pull the spear out from the other side, then would that free it?
Yes, it would.
Okay. So what I really want to do, because like I'm trying not to play the combat, but to play the TV show.
Yeah, exactly.
So really, I just want to pull the spear out and maybe use a bit of manipulation of this fog to pull it down a little bit. So there's like a bank of fog that's rolling over the top of the carriageway. And then with this spear, just sort of claw my way out of it and try to set up like a perfectly capturable, perfectly clippable shot. Where I stand on the top of the carriage. I'm like, "Oh, Alpha and the King!" Not a spear, but something.
I love it. This is tremendous.
You know, as the carriage starts to trundle forward.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So I think this is a this is quite an interesting roll. I'm going to suggest Arkwise, you could roll lend a hand here, I think, because this is going to be tricky for Anders to do. But
her hand's literally trapped, so
yeah, it's
the other one isn't, and it's got a saw in it.
Yeah, so what she could do is just saw off her own arm, and that should make it a lot easier to get the spear out.
If you were going to come to me next, I was going to run over with an axe and just chop her arm free. I've got you! There's your TV moment.
He's not doing it.
My
to
hand
my
is not
character this
lended.
time. Oh wow, that is impressive.
Looks like someone's
it's
getting their arm chopped off.
I'm only on one arm. I was trying to lend it. There was a saw in it.
Yeah,
What does it say? I can't move this thing out of the way.
It says 4.
It's a 4. It's, I believe, the lowest roll of the game so far.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
This dice is
something
over the
very bad. I hope.
Poor man.
Hope Gwyn.
We use an
I hope
action
Gwyn
point
rolls
to change it, I
badly
think.
too. Nope.
No, because everyone spent. Oh, Arkwise can lend a hand retrospectively with an action point, and you haven't spent yours. But that roll is gone, so you might need it for whatever comes up as a consequence of this. So yeah, Anders. I think so. You kind of duck your way through this melee to get to the spear, which you've successfully identified as the source of the power of the problem. I think unraveling it, I could see this as being strength or subtlety.
Let's say subtlety.
Yeah, I think subtlety, compared with your -1 strength, I think subtlety would be a good choice.
Yeah.
I'm stronger than you.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Well, you do like physical things a lot. Anders made boxes.
Doesn't. I was a box auditor.
Oh, yeah.
and
not even
checked
full
boxes.
boxes.
He just checked a box, then checked a checkbox, and that was his job. Okay, so let's see what happens.
So what am I rolling? Subtlety?
It's face a challenge with subtlety, yeah.
I'll just roll the subtlety dice. 5! Yes!
Oh, stop trying to roll as low as me, man.
Chop that arm! Chop that arm! Chop that arm! The chant starts going out and the Skelebarians start joining in. And the cameraman, you can just see him zoom in right in because he knows what's coming. And in the background, Brad's just sharpening an axe with a whetstone. Like an executioner. I've got my black hood on. I am ready for this scene. We gotta get the ratings.
So
yeah,
Brad,
either way,
you won't believe what happens on Fantasy Cup tonight at 9
I
p.m.
need my arm for steadying things while I hit hammers.
Nah, you don't.
You could have like a robot hand or something now. It'd be cool.
Sold.
There we go.
Yeah, I think what happens here is you drag the spear free successfully.
Ow!
And yeah, the carriage begins to start moving again.
Uh-oh.
As it does. Arkwise, mark the level 3 harm.
Oops.
Fucking hell. I'm surprised it didn't run over Mr. Muscles, to be honest with you, and everyone else was fine.
Yeah, so what's this harm going to be?
Can I reduce it with
Broken arm.
armor?
You can reduce it
Broken
with
arm.
armor. We'll mark your armor up to 2 and take the level 2 harm. And that harm is going to be
Tire marks.
arterial bleeding.
Ooh.
Wow.
I'm not even sure I spelt it right.
That's fine. You're just bleeding very heavily right now. Way more than
Okay. Cool.
than is cool.
Should not have signed those waivers.
There's a lot of you can't sue anyone over this. It's brutal. So Brad, the carriage starts moving. And as it does, actually, just before that happens, Anders, do you still want to try your ascend to the roof heroic shot? Amazing.
Do you want like bend probability? And
I think this is bend
something?
probability. I think that makes sense.
Just straight up bend probability. Let's just do it and see what happens.
A 9. An intermediate success. Yeah. So on this intermediate success, again, it's one of those extra things happens. So you could just mark more probability, or the effect could be small or grating or draw unwelcome attention, or just use up your magic for the time being. Like where you
How
at.
long is the time being?
Until you have rested.
Oh, so like all day?
Well, it depends. There'll probably be an opportunity to rest in the afternoon, so it might only practically be this scene. But if we had a series of consecutive scenes, you wouldn't be able to do anything with that till the end of them.
I mean, tempting to reveal the unwelcome truth that I'm going for that shot whilst there's arterial bleeding going on.
Don't worry, I've got the arterial bleeding covered.
But no, I'll go for... I want to keep my clippable shot, so I will go for the works exhausting, and I will stop doing any magic.
Okay, so Anders is like leaps up to the thing.
I'll tap out.
What do you shout? What's your like heroic moment?
Yeah, no, I'll claw my way to the top and stand it. If there's like a little flag or banner or something, I'll grab that so that it can start fluttering as we go.
Amazing.
Yeah, and for Dutchess and the King. Throw a spear at something, could be anything.
Spear down. And it is noticeable as you do, like there is blood dripping down the spear as you go to throw it. Brad, you see like 3 or 4 of these very fast bone crab skitterers all dashing towards under the carriage as it starts moving. What do you do? There is other combat going around, but they are running under it. You may not know that Arkwise is there, so you might want to just continue with the battle anyway. But they all seem to be making for the carriage.
What else is sort of near me and in front of me? I can see these dudes skittering for the carriage, which is kind of priority number 1. What else is happening around?
You've also got like a pretty steady fight between the Skelebarians and like Barry and Callie on the back here are doing a pretty good job. Rocchio is also here with her like thieves' knives, like cutting through. At the moment, it's fairly even Stevens. You could probably turn this into a winning fight if you took out a couple of these Skelebarians.
But there's crab. So no one's seen the crabs going.
No one
for
seems to be paying
the
attention to them. No.
Except, I mean, I guess as the smoke kind of is starting to close in again, I just see Anders atop.
Yeah,
the king. So I'm like, Anders has got this. Anders has got this in hand. So he's obviously fighting well. Do I go for the crabs or swing the battle? What do I do for the crabs? Trying to think what I could do.
I mean, I would imagine that Brad has probably faced crabs in his day-to-day life. I bet on the drift, crabs
Yeah,
are yeah, that's not what I meant. I would imagine on the drift that these are a regular problem.
Do I have my little anchor still?
Yeah, you always have your anchor.
I'm wondering if there's a way that I can manipulate magic to try and catch all 3 crabs with my anchor. Kind of, I want to swoop it and then swing it for the back legs so it kind of wraps around 1, 2, 3 and then hooks back on itself and catches. And I want to kind of guide it.
Oh, okay, yeah. So so it's like,
because I'm good at tying knots. That's the thing. So I can tie. I've learned to tie knots with my mind.
Yeah, so you're like tying a knot.
They call me mind knots.
That's how you learn to do most things.
Yeah, exactly. So it makes sense. Good.
You're not special.
Yeah.
We all use our mind for things. Whatever.
Yeah, okay.
With our little brain friends.
I use my muscles. I'm a muscle man, remember? Not a mind man.
Let's try a use power here, I think.
So is that mind? No, heart.
That is heart. That is your get up and go spirit. Which you are.
Oh,
good at.
yes!
So what's it look like as you hook these skitterer crabs as
I think it's just they're like, as they're, before they've sort of spread apart, like as their like little limbs are crawling through the ground, I've let loose, but in a wide swing so that it hits the first, that kind of, let's see if it's caught on the camera. So it kind of, as it comes in, it catches the first leg and it forces the rope, wham!
Oh yeah,
and it catches, boom, 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 and then comes around and hooks in on itself. And then I yank the chain and it tightens the chain like you would like one of those dog collars that just has a big loop at the end of the chain.
Yeah.
And you loop it round and through itself and
yeah.
And then I'm being pulled on my heels. I'm holding it.
Yeah, and
trying to get their attention. Whoa there! Whoa!
No, I think on this roll, you like yank it and you just crush them. They like explode into shards of bone and kind of
these boys are wrong.
And that they seem to have been stopped. You can see others like skittering around. It seems like they've smelt something. Arkwise, you're bleeding very heavily under this carriage.
I continue to bleed.
move. What are you doing?
Am I no longer under the carriage? Has the carriage gone past me?
If you want, the carriage will the carriage can go. If you're not hanging on to it, you'll be like lying there. As the
I guess I'll use whatever arm is not bleeding me to death to find some kind of tourniquet.
Okay, cool. So you're going
and then just kind of bravely limp off to get help. But I'm going to look after myself because I can't trust those guys.
Perhaps one day you'll learn.
Classic enigma.
I'm the one that's more likely to have a tourniquet on me.
Authorize the wound with a little.
Oh yeah, with like a soldering iron. Yeah. I've got to find a plug, and I'm not sure they got the same number of pins as they have.
You've probably got like a little battery pack under your shell or something.
Yeah, it's solar panelled. I've got solar panels at the back of my armor.
Like every little spine section's a USB port.
You would have advanced tech. You're not going to be without power.
Got a welding torch. You could just cauterize it with that, but it is also welding temperature, so you will get 3rd-degree burns. Column A, column B, Okay, yeah. So you've got stuff in your bag.
Heat up a blade,
don't you? So I think this is going to be. I think this is mind. To know what's the right way to do this.
Okay, I'm thinking as well that this should play well to the crowds.
Right,
This is
so
going
it has to be visible.
It's going to be heavily pixelated, but
Yeah.
you know, I mean, it's not super good, but it's okay.
It's an 8.
It's an 8.
There are worse rolls
Not a
than
4.
8. Yeah, so that is basically a perfect, like what I expect here. You avoid the immediate danger. So, yeah, you're no longer spurting blood. You're just
Hooray!
bleeding much worse than usual.
Yeah.
But you are also now in the middle of a fight with everyone else kind of yelling and stomping around. Brad, you see Arkwise like doing their kind of wrapping and tightening the tourniquet with the thing in their mouth.
And you're like, this is no time for heroin.
This is a time for heroism, so in a way. What do you do?
So she looks like she's badly wounded.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm fine.
Arkwise, no! I'm going to run over and kind of slow motion. I'm going to grab Arkwise. Anders, catch! Heave her off Anders, catch! Like a full... Save her!
This is great because that is quite an easy thing for Brad Muscles to do.
It is, and I assume for anyone to do.
Exactly.
Let's see what the dice say first.
Anders,
I think we know.
Face a challenge with strength to catch Arkwise, who's flying up.
Yeah, I don't even have to roll.
I don't think it's the throw that's going to be the problem.
Yeah,
I was going to say, I was expecting the dice to go badly on the throw and it'll pile you off the...
Pangolins are they're well known for being like aerodynamic.
But you roll up like a cannonball. Your instinct is to roll up and protect yourself. So you're a spiky armored ball flying through the air towards Anders now.
That shouldn't be
All he has to do is
catch
catch you. All he has to do is catch you.
And if not, I'll bounce. Oh, you could roll me into the bad guys, and it'd be like 10-pin bowling.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Yes.
That's
going to be a special move. Yeah.
You're building up those team specials. This is what's going to get this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is definitely a strength roll, Anders. Like to.
Oh no, it's not. There was no way I'm catching her. Like, I have zero hope of being able to. As soon as I hear Anders catch, I know that things are going bad. And I haven't got any magic to do anything about it either. So I'm thinking that in my current sort of situation, stood trying to look heroic on top of the cart with like a bank of fog underneath. I'm literally just going to accept what's coming. I will turn to face the back, to throw my arms open wide to attempt to catch her, but obviously fail, and just get bowled back and fall into the fog. So at least I can make it look cool.
We can land on the berries.
Amazing. And
I'm basically acting more like a crash mat than a baseball club.
This is great. And so I think what happens here is Arkwise comes spinning in. Anders is bold, stumbles backwards, and the two of you fall straight through the carriage roof and land at the feet of the Duchess, who says, "What the fine time it is to see you! How goes the battle, noble heroes?" She's glaring at you what the fuck are you doing here?
Just like to unroll and give a little bow. Milady.
Arkwise is wearing a dwarf beard and covered in blood. And and I think maybe that's where we'll end this scene. I think that's a great like the battle's basically won now. You've got the carriage moving.
Yeah.
And that's a masterclass in slapstick. Great job, everyone. Very inspiring to know how best to assist there, Brad.
I give a thumbs up to the camera as the scene cuts fades out.
So, yes,
You're definitely winning.
You when by the time you return to the castle, they like. It's actually quite good for Arkwise. He's feeling a bit lightheaded by this point to be travelling in the carriage. I think maybe Anders is evicted to outside to march down with the rest of the team.
That's all right. The important bits were on camera.
Yeah. And yeah, I think Arkwise is... as soon as you get back to the castle, Arkwise is rushed off to the healers, to the House of Healing, which is a small, like a little hut at one side of the of the castle. And Arkwise, they take you in there. It's just this little wooden shed, and then they take you out the back into a modern hospital with all the mod cons.
Yeah.
And then and yeah, you're like rushed away for treatment. Meanwhile, the Duchess, as you roll into the castle, she says, comes out of her shattered carriage, the roof in pieces. You get the feeling that a real carriage would probably have been a bit more sturdy.
Balsa wood.
Yeah, there's probably balsa wood here. Certainly nothing particularly like heavy duty. The Duchess steps out and says, I have much to consider. I shall retire to my chambers for a time. I ask that you report what you have seen to the Merry King. And she kind of addresses that to everyone and then disappears into a room. It disappears through a doorway into the palace. And then, like, Togs Gernard is like, fear not, I shall do the reporting. And he starts, like, stomping off towards the palace. And Shani Tompot's like, we should take all of Team Delta. That's the only way to be sure. And like starts marching off with him. What do you do, Anders? Brad?
I feel like one of us needs to keep an eye on this.
Yeah, they're controlling the message here.
Yeah, Anders. Anders, that seems a little bit sus. What do you reckon they're going to say? I say we go with them. Why not, eh? Why not?
Well, I'm interested in what they're going to say, but I think there's probably more production value in us sitting around being concerned about our injured friend. And whatever they say, like, the limelight will probably focus on that much more than the message. It would be interesting to know what they say, because I suspect that as they were in the team that went back and didn't actually see anything that happened up in Trogglesheim, then we're going to be able to make them look like big keeners and then roll up with the actual information that he's interested in. So we can kind of have the best of both worlds, really. We know what he's going to say because we know what he's seen.
Yeah. Or what I'm tempted to do is wrap a bandage around my head and then magically pull off my ear and slip it into one of their bags as a listening device.
I think we need to make a bit of a show about our injured colleague, then walk up there late and just inveigle our way in and then start dropping the information that they clearly cannot have told them because they don't know it.
That's true. As we break away, I'm gonna be like, Quais! Wow! Pound the earth! Oh, please, God, have mercy on her!
I'm gonna sort of move up and like pat him on the shoulder and console him, and look forlornly towards the healer's door.
Anders. And then we both kind of look towards the camera. You can just see us side-eyeing the cameraman.
Yeah.
Is he looking? Is he looking? Are we in the shot? Is it working?
Is this
She was the best of all of us.
Oh, woe is us. I hope no one's filming this. Weep.
It starts like
the word cry, tear. I'm gonna get some dirt, rub it in my eye when I was looking, so it starts watering.
like rip an onion out of your bag and like break it in front of your face.
Yeah. Just pass it across to Anders. Quick, use this.
Yeah.
Get some Vaseline. It's an old actor's trick.
Arkwise, you have been placed on loads of machinery put on you. You've been placed on a comfortable bed. On a monitor above the bed, you have a feed from the show. So you're actually seeing this in real time. You get to...
I mean, to be honest, I could watch it, but there's a lot of machinery to be watching. I'm just interested in the machinery.
Yeah.
I haven't even noticed it's them. I just assumed they've left like daytime telly on.
You're just watching the machine that goes beep, 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 which actually they have here because this is like a television hospital, not a real hospital.
Yeah. It's
Are the doctors
everyone
and like
is so
nurses?
annoyed.
Are the doctors and nurses watching the screen? Are they like enjoying the show?
I think they're mostly.
I suppose they work on the show, so
they're mostly working on like sorting out blood transfusions.
Yeah, but while you do that, you go have a little watch of the telly, aren't you?
It takes a while for the blood to get in.
I've
heard doctors and nurses. That's an easy job. Easy job, I reckon. Does itself. People heal themselves for the most part.
You just have to think positive thoughts and you get better. That's what I heard.
Basically a sugar pill with a tiny bit of something.
Perfect.
So while Arkwise starts to it is kind of being tended to, but it's going to take you a few hours before you're allowed back out, I think, Arkwise. So meanwhile, you have said your sorry farewells to your companion.
Yeah, and we'll slowly make our way up towards the Merry King after we've sufficiently milked it.
Yeah, and in the palace, you can see, and the sad thing is, you know what the sad thing is? No one actually saw, well, not sad for you, Anders, but no one actually saw how Arkwise got injured.
No!
So it's not even like a cool on-screen injury.
I mean, Arkwise, I suppose, isn't that concerned, but I am.
No, but this is it. You don't even get to mark popularity off this one because it's not like...
I'm just quietly being the genius, you know?
Yeah, that's it. And so...
Hey, you got your arm trapped and nearly cut off.
Did the carriage get moving? Yes, it did.
Yeah, it did. It did get moving, to be fair.
So as you come into the palace, you can hear that Dogs Gernard is saying, and then I defeated 5 Skelebarians, and Shani Tombat saying, I defeated 6 Skelebarians, and the King's Carve looking between them like, great. And Xander Mullet is stood a little behind with his hands in his opposite sleeves, just kind of watching them with a beatific smile on his face. but very little interest in what they're actually saying. And so as you come in, the king looks up almost hopefully. And he says, I heard that Troggle's Hythe has been entirely demolished. And you investigated further, Team Alpha?
That's quite correct, my liege.
We'll both take a bow and a knee.
Yeah, we'll take a bow. I imagine that you've heard tales of combat between these teams here and our carriage. And I dare say that they've glossed over the fact that it was due to the sacrifice of our colleague Arkwise that carriage got moving again. That's the real reason we're here. Thank you all for lending a hand. But when it come down to spilling blood, then it's our teammate that's in the hospital, isn't it? But that aside, Mary King, yes, we got to Troggle's Hythe. It was destroyed, as I'm sure you've heard. I don't know how much more you've heard, whether they've cared to mention Colorath yet.
He says, Colorath? That name is known to me. What? Ooh. But no one here has said it. I heard that the town was burned, that they found none but the dead there. But you say Colorath was present?
Quite correct. We scouted further in, along with Team Peter, and came across some figure naming themselves as Colorath.
What form did they take?
I can't remember.
We were only told to remember his name.
Oh, yeah, that's true. To be fair, it was kind of like a generic anime villain. He had a long coat and his katana and long hair.
That does ring a bell. That does ring a bell. He took the form of a humanoid. He stood in the shadows, looking down upon us, calling out his name. That was about it. He obviously wanted to know you to know that he was involved.
The king nods again. He says, "Things are already worse than I feared. If Colorath, the herald, walks the land, and a town like Troggle's Hythe can be utterly destroyed, then nowhere is safe. I did the right thing in recruiting you, heroes. I shall need your strong hands, sharp eyes, and indomitable spirit in the time ahead. I know of this Colorath, and I know of what his arrival portends. There will be more to tell of that later, but I must ponder deeply on what is to be done. Tonight, you may all relax, get to know your comrades better, and take part in the grand contest of Bench That Wench outside the tavern. On the morrow, I shall call upon you and ask for your service once more in grand tasks. I thank you. You are dismissed."
Take a bite of the onion.
As are you,
my king!
king! And trumpets play, and he kind of steps back. He steps back from the beam of light above into the shadow, and it's as if he's disappeared, but then he just in the dark bit walks out through a door in the back.
I'll kind of hold it in until he's disappeared out the back, and then go.
Amazing.
That's onion.
What was I thinking? This is the worst idea I've ever had. So we have returned from Troggle's Hythe. Do you want to call it there? Or do you wish to... I think we could probably call it there and then contend with Bench That Wench a little later.
Bench That Wench.
Which I believe one of you starts at a disadvantage in. Due to the curse of the Witch of the Swamps. So, yeah.
I assume
so, yes, we will pick that up next time for important sports reality TV evening activities. And
Yours?
nice,
Do we
great
mark
work, everyone. Let's do XP quickly before we stop.
XP and stuff?
Ooh.
Yeah, so Anders, you used your magic to assist an ally. You definitely did that, so mark XP.
Mhm.
Did you use your powers while ignoring likely consequences? I think you borderline did. Also, I would take that
Okay.
because it was quite plausible that everyone would be fighting blind as a result of that, which could have gone a lot worse than it did. So that gives you enough XP that we'll be starting to look for a turning point.
Okay.
So we'll have a look through those ahead of the next session. Arc-wise, you didn't prevent
No, I didn't.
anyone doing anything dangerous? Did you encourage someone to do anything dangerous?
Nah, I just got on with it.
You just
In
got
fact,
on
I
with it, didn't
prevented
you?
other people doing dangerous things by doing the dangerous thing myself.
You did do the dangerous thing yourself. That was like extremely dangerous as well. You're the VIP. You're the MVP of this adventure.
Yep. That'll be the careful Arkwise.
Yeah.
Narrative.
When your negative pole causes you to expend huge amounts of power, when your positive pole causes you to hold back instead of using your power. You generally did use your power. I think we could mark one for you for tactless use of power there. In particular, for I think that throwing Arkwise onto the carriage.
Wait, is this me?
Yeah, so I think we can mark XP for that one. So you're approaching a turning point as well. Nice.
According to this, I'm 2 blips away. Is that what you mean by approaching?
Yeah.
Do we get XP for using action points?
Yes, but that is already done. And once you hit 7...
I got to get more blips.
Yeah, when you use the action points, it actually auto does it at the end of the scene. Unless...
Are you sure?
Unless my
think
system isn't working. But
Seems
unless your system's a piece of shit.
I'm going to discount that possibility because it could not be.
We're still rolling. It's amazing.
It's amazing. It's working great.
It's the opposite of enshittification.
Dear viewers, now we've got a little finger that hovers over things we can click. So it's improving.
We have got a viewer now and everything.
It's all usability.
Oh, wow. Perfect timing.
Did our popularity change as a result of any of that?
Your popularity should be up. I believe you should be on 2. Brad is on 2. And actually, Arkwise, I'm going to bump your popularity up 2.
I only have space to go up 1.
You only have 1 popularity on your counter.
I'm only allowed to be 1 popular. Admittedly, my charm is like -2 or something, or -1.
Yeah, so that's it. But no, that is weird. I will edit that.
So I was already at 2. Does that mean I stay at 2?
You are. I put you up to 2 when it happened.
Okay, fine.
So that's already done. I'll put you up as well, Arkwise, once I figure out why your popularity isn't on 2 already.
Also, I can't be complicated.
Lucky for you.
Oh no, that refers to something else.
Yeah, no, that's the thing below, I think. Yeah, your complication is that you're comfortable around your people, but you find it hard to deal with people.
Not only foreigners. Anyway, I'm voting what those guys are. Reform! The reform for the cutters! We just got rid of all the people that aren't like me.
Yeah, that would be a great world. Well, honestly, you probably wouldn't have nearly died. So
everyone else would be dealing with it rather than just fannying about. With their massive arms and stuff.
Their massive Mr. Tickle arms. Excellent. Well, that's really good. We will catch you next time everyone, thank you very much for joining us. And if you're listening on the podcast, I hope you enjoyed it. And
Bye.
Bye.
Bye all. Oh, I didn't.